early in my life, I remember being interested in our Indian heritage on my grandmother, Laura Thompson's side of the family. And she told me very little because she really was so young when her father died. She just didn't remember very much. But I saw in her life, I thought, traits of Native Americans. And I never knew exactly how she could be the kind of person she was, having had a rather hard life for a long time. But I really think it was her great faith and her Native American heritage. And as I traveled, I researched the family and found where her brothers and one sister had been proven to be 1/16th Choctaw. Then as I traveled in Oklahoma, I saw a great deal of the area they lived in. I also walked on the Trail of Tears briefly one afternoon. I have all the research recorded, and we are part of other tribes as well, but Choctaw is our main one on the Thompson side. We do have a little Cherokee and Chickasaw. Therefore, when I started to record my life and my part of it, I only used the Choctaw because I thought I would get my name on the roll. They thought I was 132nd. As I researched, I learned that was not true. My mother was 132nd, so I was 164th, and I'm not on the roll, but I'm real proud of what I've accumulated and proud of the fact that our nations are the civilized nations of the Indians. As I did my family history research, I was always trying to interest some of my family, and my grandson, Stephen Bowles, became interested and asked a lot of questions. When he moved to England to work, he wanted me to come, and I felt I couldn't make the trip then. So he took a necklace that was important to me, and he took it numerous places and took pictures with it in the picture. And I would like to read for you what he said to me. Growing up, I used to always enjoy hearing the stories told by my grandmother, Floy Abernathy Miller Little, Ninny, about our family's history. Recently, I had the opportunity to retrace the steps as our forefathers made their way from Abernethy, thus the name Abernathy, Scotland, to the New World in 1692. We know that two Abernathy brothers would have traveled overland from Abernathy, Scotland, through the Edinburgh and sailed from Liverpool, England, with a written history provided by Ninny and a small heart necklace that she cherished. I made the journey to the land of our ancestors. To Ninny with love, Stephen Bowles, May the 28th, 2012, and that was my birthday. Stephen made pictures starting with Liverpool, where the family ancestors sailed from, and he traced them back all the way with pictures, which I have in this book that he gave me for my birthday. Among those things were pictures of the round towers that still to remain in Scotland, and I would like to read to you a portion of something he copied. Long before this Abernathy was important as a principal seat of the Pictish kingdom and the seat of Celtic Bismarck. Malcolm Kenmore and William the Conqueror met in Abernathy in 1072, possibly here at this round tower. Among these pictures are pictures of statues of Robert the Bruce, the good King of Scotland, who is proven to be our ancestor, and Stephen traveled where all this took place and where the battle occurred, where Robert the Bruce was killed. The Roman soldiers were so impressed with the Pictish soldiers that they removed his heart and gave it to them, and it is buried in the abbey there in Scotland. And one of the researchers from our family went there and placed wildflowers and took a picture of the abbey. The name Abernathy evidently originated from the river Neathie, and since Aber means ford, and that is where the city of Abernathy has been for many years, we assume that is how the name originated. And we have maps of the area, and I will read you this one small statement. Today, Fife's wealth lies in the variety of landscapes, seascapes, and townscapes which you can savor. Some say it takes a long spoon to sip with a fife, but you can be sure of a warm welcome from the people of the kingdom. Stephen took pictures all along the way that our family traveled, but basically, I think he enjoyed taking those of the statues that mean something, and one of the most prominent ones is this one of a family of 3 preparing to leave there to come to the new land.
Well, when my granddad bought this acreage over here, back when my mother was small, he didn't know that this cemetery was included in the property he bought. And he was just walking through the pasture one day and came upon it. Of course, there's been a lot of graves here since then, and also there are quite a few out there that had no markers on their block, and we don't know who was there. This is the Carroll Springs Cemetery, and as far back as I can remember, we came here for Memorial Days and days to clean the cemetery. But my grandparents had moved back from Oklahoma and moved on to the Jernigan place, rented it. And shortly after they did that, my mother died when I was 8 months old, and she was buried out here. But afterwards, many of the family was buried here, including my grandparents and my dad later and stepmother. When I was quite small, I imagine about 4 or 5, they finally had taught me a poem. And at the end of school here, and Daddy was teaching here, They had a program, and they built a platform outside the school, and Aunt Viney led me over in that beautiful dress she made for me and informed him that I knew a poem. And he just reached down with one hand and picked me up and said to the audience that I was going to recite a poem, and I did. Of course, I do not remember my mother because I was only 8 months old when she died. But when the night before Dad died, he told my stepmother that he never had to worry about me. He knew I would always do what was right. And she asked him how he knew because he wasn't with me. And he said, because I was just like my mother. I assumed from a miscarriage, but they would not tell you things then, and nobody would ever answer my question. So I don't know. But I assumed. This is my mother's sister, Nora, who married Barry Hoggle, and they lived near the schoolhouse where I went to school, so I spent a lot of time with them.